So I think it's pretty safe to say that I have a little bit of egg on my face after the Dragons' victory over the Knights yesterday. Look, I picked the Knights, I picked the teams against the Dragons every single week almost, and the Dragons keep coming out and winning. Before the season started, I sat here and I said Anthony Griffin, he's shit. The Dragons players, they all suck. I said they would be competing for the wooden spoon, and after 4 rounds, I think it's pretty safe to say they're not going to be getting the wooden spoon. I mean, look at all the other teams that are around them. Some of the teams that they've actually played, your Manleys and such, they're actually going to be competing for the wooden spoon. Bulldogs in particular, another one. Dragons, with the amount of wins they've already got, I think they've already avoided the wooden spoon. And sitting here before the season started and just talking that much shit about the Dragons, I'm actually I'm so embarrassed, to be honest. And obviously I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of people who were saying the Dragons were pretty bad. I mean, the last couple of seasons, they've been absolutely atrocious. And the roster wasn't that different. In fact, I think the roster, when you actually look at it on paper, is probably actually worse compared to last year. I mean, you lost Tyson Frizzell, Ewan Aiken's not there, probably a few others that I'm missing as well. But Anthony Griffin's got the team playing pretty well, to be honest with you. Look, their defense, I think, is the thing that's impressed me the most. The defense has been outstanding. They're not conceding a lot of points, which obviously is going to help in terms of winning games. And look, they're just able to snag some lucky tries. Let's use the nice game, for example. Look, they did get some fortunate breaks, let's be honest, like Mitchell Pearce going down injured, Kurt Mann knocked out. I think there was someone else got injured too, I'm just forgetting. But look, the Knights, they were definitely depleted. And right from the get-go, they weren't exactly playing great. But the Dragons, they just keep running away victories. This is kind of the Dragons of old, to be honest with you. It's just the roster's not as good. At least in the past, their roster was still pretty good, but they're grinding out victories, and you're like, well, maybe they're a chance here towards back end of the season. They just die off in the second half. Whereas this side, I feel like the roster's not actually that good, but they're still playing that sort of typical Dragon style where they're just grinding teams away, and then teams just sort of running out of gas, and the Dragons are still there, and the Dragons still in it. And like Tarek Sims, for example, the try he scored, just the charge down, they're just getting some lucky breaks. They scored another one off a drop ball. Like I said, lucky breaks, but they're all lucky breaks that you need to win games. Not every team's going to be like the Roosters and the Storm and Rabbitohs and just go out right from the get-go and just blow out teams and put 20-30 on them. It's just not realistic. And like I said, before the season started, I would have said the Dragons would have been in a wooden spoon battle. So look, they're not exactly one of the better teams in terms of rosters, and I keep saying that, but it's the truth. When you lose Tyson Frizzell and you lose some of the other players that they have over the years, it's just natural that you think they would keep declining, but instead they're not. Actually, when you think about the roster, they've actually got a pretty good mix of youth and experience. Now obviously Ben Hun is injured, he's not playing at the moment, but even Clune's come in, he's played a little bit of first grade these days, but Ben Hunt, Corey Norman in the halves, you got experience, Andrew McCullough experience, then you got Dufty who's been around for a little while, but you add in the backs, they haven't exactly been around for a long time. Sort of talking about your Cody Ramseys and such, and even a lot of the forwards that haven't been around for a long time, but they've got a nice little balance going there. And I think the thing that I need to touch on, that's the most important part of what I was saying before the preseason, was I didn't think Anthony Griffin was a great coach. Now, he's taken over a side, which, like I keep saying, I keep reinforcing, the roster's not as good as it was last year, yet they're getting way better results than last year. And I think it comes down to the coaching. I think maybe not even such that Anthony Griffin is, such a good coach or anything, but the players are actually playing for him. Whereas I don't think the last couple of seasons, I don't think they were playing for McGregor. In fact, I'm pretty sure players have come out and said that they weren't playing for him, or they at least didn't like the environment. We had a lot of Dragons players coming out. I think Matt Dufty was one of them, talking about how, you weren't sure if you were going to get picked the next week. You'd come out and you could play a really good game, and the next week in reserve grade, and just talked about how it was such a toxic environment. And now you've got Anthony Griffin there, who's come in, brought a new environment to the side, sort of not cut the deadwood, obviously. Look, I wouldn't say Frizzell and the others who left the deadwood by any means, but it's just a change of scenery, just a change of face, a fresh start for him. They've got rid of him. They don't have to rely on Tyson Frizzell anymore, because I feel like that's what it was kind of coming down to. They were just relying on Tyson Frizzell to get him up. He was the leader of the pack, and now he's not there. Other people have got to step up. You Paul Vaughan, you Tarek Sims, they've got to step up, and they're doing it so far. Now, do I think you're going to be doing it long term throughout the season? No, I do think the Dragons are going to drop off, and I'm sitting here doing this video after it is to beat the Knights, who haven't exactly been great this year, and also had a heap of injuries going into the game, as well as through the game. They lost Mitchell Pearce, like I said. They lost Kurt Mann. They just had Blake Green coming back from injury. I think Tex Hoy went off. There was another one who went off, I think, as well. Also add in the other wins that they've got were against Manly and the Cowboys. But you can't take it away from them. The Dragons have won 3 in a row. It's 3 games that I didn't think they'd actually win. I 100% thought they'd be down the bottom of the ladder. And look, by the end of the season, they definitely could be. However, this is a brilliant start, and I can't take it away from them. Despite them playing some of the lower ranked sides, you can only play what's in front of you, and that's exactly what the Dragons are doing, and the Dragons are getting the wins. And like I said, they're just moving further and further away from the wooden spoon. And like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure the wooden spoon, it's already out of reach. Like, they're not going to get it. They're definitely not going to get it. They've already beat the teams who are probably going to get it in the Cowboys and Manly. Add in the Bulldogs, Broncos, maybe a few others. But yeah, it just shows you how much of a mismatch this ladder is. The fact that Dragons beaten them, but yet they're coming up against the Eels next week, and I'd expect the Eels to put 30 or 40 on them. It's just a weird year this year. It's been a weird couple of years, I should say. But yeah, all these new rule changes and such have made the game so strange in the sense that you've got your top 6 teams or whatever, everyone else, they're no competition. They're literally no competition. So the Eels coming up against the Dragons next week, you would think, oh, Dragons 3 in a row, like in pretty good form. You know, there might be a contest here, but I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. The Eels, they've been very, very good. They played tonight, well, they play this afternoon, I should say, against the Tigers. I'm expecting them to win that one, and then I'm expecting them to go up against the Dragons and absolutely towel them up. But it just shows you the mismatch in teams, considering the Dragons have actually been playing quite well, and yet they're going to go into this Eels game heavy underdog, to my opinion. But yeah, leave in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on the Dragons? Definitely surprising me, definitely leaving egg on my face. Leave in the comment section below, what are your thoughts of the Dragons? Do you think they're going to keep improving? Do you think they're going to be on a downhill slide? What do you think is going to happen for them in 2021? Anyways, that's where I'm going to end this video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also turn on the notification bell. It's pretty important in terms of you actually seeing the video. You're going to be notified immediately. Get a little notification on your phone. Click on it, leave a first comment, do whatever you want to do. Just make sure you watch the bloody video. Also, give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke YT for the most part. Just Mr. Luke for Facebook, but for everything else, it's Mr. Luke and YT. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about this one. Dragons leave me embarrassed, but we'll see how they go for the rest of the season. And that's where I'm going to end this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you.